Zhou Nin did something no man had the guts to do. He harassed the same angel NPC 100 times a day. And not just that, he even clung to her leg and acted like a perv in broad daylight, right in front of crowds. But his shameless antics never lasted more than 2.5 seconds. Because that's exactly how long it took for the angel to finish casting her judgment spell. The next moment, Zhou Nin would be reduced to ashes by a divine lightning bolt. Even worse, every time he died, his level would reset to 0, brutal. So why'd he keep doing it? All to complete an insanely difficult hidden quest to unlock the one and only class, Black Card Emperor, and become the king of the game. After 2.5 years and 10,086 divine smitings, Zhou Nin finally completed the hidden quest and officially ascended as the Black Card Emperor. The Black Card Emperor class came with a god-tier exclusive talent. He could fuse any 2 cards into a mutated black card. Of course, to unlock the higher level effects of that talent, he'd still need to hit certain level milestones. In this card-based game world, a player's strength was entirely determined by the power of their cards. Cards were color ranked from weakest to strongest: white, green, blue, purple, and orange. White cards were trash. Orange cards were top tier. In addition to those 5, there were 2 rare types: red cards and black cards. But unlike regular cards, their color didn't reflect power. A red or black card might rival an orange or be worse than a white. To upgrade cards, players used 2 main methods: enhancement and fusion. Both required special recipes, and if you failed, all your cards and materials went poof. But not Zhou Nin. His Black Card Emperor class broke the rules. He could fuse and enhance with a 100% success rate. No recipes needed. Still, that hidden class had cost him dearly. He was way behind the player base. Most people were already level 20 plus, and he was still running around as a level 0 scrub. Time to catch up. First step, get to the goddess statue and claim his newbie white card. As the spatial vortex slowly opened, Zhou Nin was granted his very first card, a 1-star white card, Snowfield Bear. But he knew full well, if he wanted to level up faster than anyone else, he had to fuse a black card as soon as possible. Without hesitation, he accepted the newbie trial quest. A magic circle lit up beneath him, and in a flash, Zhou Nin was teleported to the newbie trial grounds. His first training target? A rooster that lays eggs. Zhou Nin blinked, then immediately summoned his Snowfield Bear to attack. One swipe, instant kill. The egg-laying rooster exploded in a burst of sparkles. As the feathers settled, a reward card floated into his hand. He glanced at it. A 3-star white card, Nightcat Daska. Without wasting a second, Zhou Nin initiated card fusion. The 2 cards began to glow, swirling together in midair, as a mysterious ancient rune circle formed around them. The system chimed. Fusion successful. New card created. 2-star black card, Panda. The card Panda had absolutely insane stats. 15,000 HP, passive self-healing, and even splash damage on attacks. Zhou Nin's eyes sparkled like gold coins. Let's go. A random white card fusion actually gave me skills. This setup's basically green card level. He threw a dramatic pose. Tremble, peasants. Your Black Card Emperor has arrived. Riding the high, he opened his quest panel, only to find that, thanks to his abysmally low level, there were barely any quests available. After careful consideration, he settled on a group instance, Defend Cassinar, which required players to fend off 9 waves of evil Murlocs in 100 minutes and slay the Murloc boss. Zhou Nin casually joined a random party. But before he could even say hi, the team's Valkyrie, Lin Yun, sneered, "Fresh out of newbie village? Noob alert." Then she kicked him out. Instantly. Unfazed, Zhou Nin closed his eyes and picked another team at random. Just a filler group looking to meet minimum head count. The moment he entered, a gut feeling hit him. This team felt sketchy. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. The dungeon teleport activated, and they were transported into Cassinar Village, a fishing hamlet at the map center. 3 main roads stretched east, south, and west, each ending in a portal where the Murlocs would spawn. The Murlocs attacked from all 3 lanes simultaneously every 10 minutes. There were 9 waves total, each one stronger than the last. Waves 3, 6, and 9 each had a boss spawn. The 3rd wave boss was Murloc Warrior, Carp Jason. The 6th wave boss, Murloc Fighter, Catfish Sika. Players affectionately or mockingly called them Big Carp and Catfish too. The 9th and final wave? The infamous Murloc Overlord, Shark Leon, aka Old Shark. Whether or not you could kill him decided if the dungeon was cleared or failed. Thankfully, there was a hidden shortcut to beating this dungeon. If you built up defenses and turrets early, the whole run would be much easier. Unfortunately for Zhou, his 3 teammates had absolutely no idea this was even a thing. With his 3 teammates totally clueless, Zhou sighed and accepted his fate. It was up to him to carry the team. He summoned Panda to stay back and guard the base, while he dashed off to set up the defenses. Soon, he found the NPC that offered the defensive construction quest. The mission was simple: gather 200 bricks from around the village to block off the east and west roads. That way, the Murlocs would only attack from the south, making defense way easier. After finding NPC crew, Zhou realized that no one had picked up the logging task here. By delivering 200 units of wood, he could get the village carpenter to repair 2 crucial watchtowers. Once the towers were repaired, if the archer NPC was still alive, they could climb the tower and gain a huge boost to both attack power and range. Zhou then moved on to the next NPC, Coco Luo. With no one else taking the first 2 tasks, he assumed no one would be here either. After completing her gathering quest, Coco Luo would craft a healing potion for him. He handed the potion to the village chief, who would then release a healing aura every minute, restoring 10% of health to all players and summons in the village. While completing the NPC tasks, Zhou thought, I just hope the others don't die before I finish building the defenses. Deep sea energy began to spread as the Merman portal activated, signaling the first wave of mermen was about to attack. The system displayed, guarding Kassanar, remaining invaders 15603/15603, and Zhou and his teammates' kill counts were all 0. 20 minutes later, an area announcement sounded. The 3rd wave of mermen is about to begin. Merman Warrior Legiason is about to appear. Prepare for battle. The enemy kill stats were updated. Player 1 had killed 300, Player 2 had killed 298, Player 3 had killed 2, while Zhou had killed 0. Seeing that Zhou hadn't killed a single monster, Huang Mao immediately mocked him. You're such a slacker, not even 1 monster down. I really hope that big fish comes for you. But just as he said that, the boss appeared right in front of Zhou. Zhou froze for a second, thinking, what kind of luck is this? The first boss is here already. He was just 30 bricks away from completing the defense. Without hesitation, he summoned Panda to hold off the monsters. The 2-star black card Panda didn't disappoint, taking out a bunch of small monsters with a single punch. Then, Panda grabbed the boss's face with one hand and slammed it to the ground, rubbing it viciously. The boss's health bar dropped to 0 in an instant. Zhou sighed in relief, thinking, thank goodness for the summons. All the aggro is on them, or I'd be minced meat by now. But just as he was relieved, the system announced that all 3 of his teammates had been killed. He couldn't help but grumble, bro, even with the summons taking the aggro, you all died? What a joke. In that case, let me show you how to solo a dungeon. I'm almost done with the bricks anyway. Gritting his teeth, he rushed to finish the final construction, hauling the last of the bricks. All that remained was handing them over to NPC Kakar, who would build the actual wall. Moments later, a towering barricade rose from the ground, sealing off the east and west paths of the village. But Panda's health was in the red, on the verge of collapse. Zhou quickly dashed to complete the potion synthesis quest and handed the finished medicine to the village chief. The chief gulped it down in one shot, and suddenly, a massive healing aura radiated from his body, covering the entire village. With the healing aura in effect, Panda's HP instantly shot back to full. Right on cue, the final wave of monsters launched their assault. Without hesitation, Panda charged straight into the horde. After a brutal flurry of attacks, the battlefield was cleared, every last enemy obliterated. Then came the final boss, Shark Leon, cloaked in a terrifying aura of raw power. Panda roared and lunged into combat, locking into a fierce duel with a Murloc overlord. Thanks to his passive regeneration and the chief's healing aura, he fought like an unstoppable tank. After a long, drawn-out fight, Panda finally wore Shark Leon down and crushed him. The boss dropped loot, the deep-sea trident, a rare weapon with serious edge. Jonin couldn't help but grin. Now that's what I call luck. With the boss defeated, it was time for the most exciting part: treasure chests. The first chest rewarded him with 2 skill points. He instantly upgraded appraisal to level 2, giving him the ability to identify cards himself. As if to test him, the second chest gave him the perfect chance. He burned 10 mana to activate his appraisal skill. The result? A totally worthless white card. No abilities, no stats, complete trash. Only 1 chest remained. Jonin closed his eyes and whispered, "Please at least make this white card decent." He opened it. It was a white card again. But this one at least had some niche use in the Defend Cassinar dungeon. Better than nothing. But come on. He was Jonin, the Black Card Emperor. No way he was settling for some lame white card. Without hesitation, he fused 2 cards, and to his surprise, created a mutated 1-star black card. Hero Bear, Soro. Soro was a ranged attacker with a bonus perk. He could automatically haul bricks and construct card towers in just 3 minutes. Basically, a god-tier card for the Defend Cassinar dungeon. Jonin couldn't wait. He dove straight into solo dungeon mode. With Panda and Soro working together, the monsters didn't even get close to the village. Victory was practically guaranteed, but Jonin quickly got bored. So, he decided to head to the Wild Zone to farm some monsters. Wild mobs could drop all sorts of valuable materials, especially elite bosses like granite, which dropped rare crafting ingredients. Unfortunately, with his current strength, Jonin could only handle the baby mobs. He quickly took down a small Murloc, but the grinding pace was painfully slow. So he headed back, only to find that Shark Leon had already been beaten into submission. With one final silky smooth Tai Chi combo, Panda sent the boss packing. This time, the dungeon rewarded 4 treasure chests, proof that if luck fails you, brute force won't. The final chest was, once again, predictably unlucky. But this time, at least it dropped something useful: diamonds and a solo pass, which could be used to upgrade base buildings. Not bad. Only 1 card chest remained. Jonin crossed his fingers. Please be a black bear card. I can fuse it into a bear guardian. Nope. What he got was a totally useless white card. Jumping frog. Sighing, Jonin opened the in-game marketplace, hoping to buy a black bear card. He typed in the search, and his jaw dropped. Every listing was either 99,999 gold or 66,666 gold. Absolute robbery. Desperate, he kept scrolling. Finally, a decent human being. Someone was selling 10 black bear cards for just 666 gold. Then he checked his wallet and found he only had 81 gold. He messaged the seller, asking if they'd sell a few individually. The reply? A hard no. Full set only. Jonin stared at his one cool item, the deep-sea trident, and sighed. Guess it's time to pick style or money. He listed the trident for 1,888 gold, a price he proudly called pure charity compared to those other highway robbers. 1 second later, a high-level player instantly bought it. Jonin didn't even blink. With his fresh pile of gold, he immediately bought out all 10 black bear cards. After a round of powerful card fusions, Jonin's pro bricklaying team was finally complete. Feeling confident, he jumped into a dungeon, ready to show off. But with that big fat level 2 tag floating over his head, players kicked him the second they saw him. As he cursed under his breath, something caught his eye: a team offering big gold rewards for brickwork. He joined instantly and typed fast, "Don't kick. I'm a professional bricklayer." But the others still hesitated. They were hoping for someone level 5 or higher. Then Zhou Nan saw the mission details. Move 1,600 bricks. Immediately, he realized they're doing a hidden quest. When he casually pointed that out, the team was genuinely impressed. "Wait, you know about the hidden mission?" Zhou Nan posted his bricklayer card lineup into the party chat. One look at his overpowered black bear skills, and everyone instantly agreed. "Yep, you're hired." Their trumpeter blew the big conch, and in a flash, the squad was teleported into a war-torn town. System prompt. In 30 minutes, the Murloc Artillery Corps will begin their assault. The whole party whipped out their cards and started summoning units. Zhou Nan went all in, summoned 2 black bear bricklayers at once. Half an hour later, he'd completed the entire defense wall, solo. The others were stunned. "You built the whole thing already?" All 3 immediately sent friend requests. With time still on the clock, Zhou Nan decided to check out how his teammates were handling the fight. What Zhou Nan saw next made his eyes go wide. "Wait, is that a Gundam?" The team leader's card is a damn Gundam. He figured the other 2 teammates had to be just as busted. Sure enough, one of them was riding an armored dragon turtle, mowing down enemies like a tank. The other? Even more ridiculous, bare-handed monster slaying, just throwing punches and casually one-shotting mobs. Then, a system alert dropped. The Murloc Artillery Corps is preparing to attack. Zhou Nan blinked. "Wait, fish people have artillery now. Are they building cannons underwater?" Before he could wrap his head around it, the sky darkened. Dozens of black dots were hurtling toward the town at high speed. Zhou Nan squinted hard, trying to identify them, but they were moving too fast. Nothing but a blur. Suddenly, one of the shadows broke off and came flying straight at him. Only then did he realize they were Murlocs. Flying Murlocs. Just before it could crash into him, Sorrow launched a clean punch that sent the creature spiraling through the air. One teammate stepped up and, with a noble tone, said, "You should fall back to the forest. It's for your safety. We can't risk you getting hurt." Zhou Nan instantly knew, they just don't want me sniping loot. Shrugging, he retreated to the backwoods, casually built a watchtower, and started farming wild monsters. But just as he got into the groove, another flying Murloc came diving toward him. He dodged instinctively, only to slam face first into an invisible wall, rebounding off like a cartoon character. Suddenly, a wild idea popped into Zhou Nan's head. What if I figured out a way to grind down that granite golem? The very next second, a flying axe smacked the golem right in the head with a loud clang. The golem snapped its head around in fury. There stood Zhou Nan and Sorrow atop the watchtower, casually lobbing axes like they were competing in an Olympic event. The golem roared in rage, the sound shaking the nearby trees. It charged straight toward the tower, eyes locked on Zhou Nan. But then, bang, it slammed right into an invisible wall, stunned and confused. Zhou Nan grinned. Just as I expected, only players can manipulate terrain. Monsters can't cross system-placed barriers like air walls. That meant the golem was stuck, and that meant Sorrow's ranged attacks could whittle it down safely from a distance. But just as Zhou Nan was ready to start the grind, the golem did something unexpected. It let out a furious roar, then lifted a 10-ton boulder and hurled it right at the tower. Zhou Nan's eyes went wide as the rock blotted out the sun. Wait, this thing has ranged attacks now. Just as he braced for impact and thought it was game over, just as the massive boulder was about to crash down, Sorrow caught it with one hand, like it weighed nothing. Then the rock began to crumble in his palm, disintegrating into floating gravel. Turns out, the system considered Sorrow, standing atop the watchtower, a structure, not a unit, and the golem's thrown attacks couldn't hurt buildings. Since the granite golem couldn't heal, Zhou Nan only needed to slowly grind it down. The catch? With that much HP and low DPS, it'd take at least 40 minutes to finish it off. Suddenly, a system-wide message popped up successfully repelled the Murloc artillery corps for 120 minutes. Fortress defended. Dungeon cleared. Reward have been sent to your secret base. Jonan also leveled up. Level 3 achieved. Back at his secret base, he saw 3 reward chests. Eyes lighting up. Oh yeah, this haul's gonna be huge. He opened the level 2 material chest first. Inside were a luminous pearl and a pile of deep-sea gunpowder. Jackpot. Then he turned to the most intriguing one, Blair's gift chest. This looks like a hidden mode exclusive. Wonder what's inside. He popped it open. A flash of golden light. And inside was a fortress clearance certificate ×1. And a new summoning card. Murloc Cannon. Landing type 1. Jonan stared at it, puzzled. Why is the Murloc the cannonball? Who designed this? Still, the name was cool enough. He decided to try fusing it with the Disciple of God card he got earlier. As the 2 cards began to merge, Jonan muttered, God Cannon? Cannon God. Please don't give me something dumb like Murloc Disciple. Huh. Ding. Fusion successful. The system chimed as a 1-star black card. Cannon follower Denglei materialized. Its attack power depended on the little Murloc projectiles, but its range and growth potential were solid. Definitely worth raising. Jonan headed straight to the marketplace and bought 20 little Murlocs as ammo. Then he noticed the seller was none other than his old friend, Cave King. I knew it. Jonan grinned. This guy must have the card crafting skill. Jackpot. In the game, every time a player hits level 10, they get to choose one of 3 random skills provided by the system. Skills fall into 3 types: general, special, and class-specific. Card fusion is a rare general skill with an extremely low drop rate. Very few players ever get it. Staring at his new cannon follower card, Jonan couldn't help but wonder, is there some kind of pattern in how these fuse cards are named? He tossed in dozens of white cards and started experimenting. Soon, he cracked the code. For example, the card Little Rabbit Go Die was made from Little Snail Go Go and Nearsighted Rabbit Die Die. The fused black card name is created by randomly selecting a prefix and a suffix from the 2 ingredient cards. He also noticed fusing 2 1-star cards can only produce a 1-star black card at most. And sometimes, the fused card is actually weaker than either of the originals. Determined to test this further, he grabbed a few more cards to validate his theory. Soon enough, a new card appeared, Little Dog Douchi. He tossed the card on the ground, and the fluffy Douchi materialized in front of him. Jonan squatted down and gave it a good head pat. Storage space, treasure map compatibility, and auto-loot function? Now, that's a keeper. With Douchi by his side, Jonan set off on a proper treasure hunting adventure. He returned to the dungeon and launched a full assault on the weakened granite golem. Before long, the golem's HP bar dropped to 0. It collapsed with a thud. System notification, kill confirmed. Rewards, 100 points, 30 diamonds, and 1 granite golem kill certificate. Douchi dashed forward at lightning speed. With a swift paw swipe, the loot was neatly stored in its internal inventory. Jonan retrieved the card from Douchi's storage and nearly jumped with excitement. A green card? I'm soaring right now. At the same time, his appraisal skill leveled up to 2, thanks to continued use. He flipped the card over, 6-star green card, Rock General Dagon, 60,000 HP, 150 to 300 attack. A 6-star tank with built-in aura skills? This wasn't just a win, this was full throttle flight. But after the hype came the reality check. The card could only be used once he reached level 5. After a brief sigh, he made a new plan. Level up cannon follower Denglei first. Pulling out the Murloc cards, he summoned a group of ammo fish to get started. He turned to Denglei and said, "Here, use these Murlocs to practice your shooting. Hero Bear's going to clear other mobs. I'm heading back to town to turn in a quest." Then, he pulled out the golem's other loot item, the Heart of Stone, and started making his way back to the village. The item description said it could be handed to the village chief, so Jonan did just that, heading over with the Heart of Stone. The chief took it and smiled warmly. "Young warrior, thank you for bringing me the Heart of Stone. Did you know it can be used to enhance mud golem cards, and even has a 5% chance to mutate them into a granite golem?" Then, lowering his voice, he added, "Since you're not yet level 5, I'll share a secret. If a team of 4 clears the Defend Casanar dungeon before reaching level 5 and hits exactly 666 kills, they'll unlock a hidden achievement. Murloc 666, and receive a special reward." Jonan's eyes lit up. He immediately joined a team for another dungeon run. But once again, his level 3 tag made teammates skeptical. Fortunately, he had an ace up his sleeve, the pro bricklaying squad. Once he showed off the cards, everyone changed their tone. "Bro, why didn't you say so sooner? Get in." They quickly entered the dungeon. Valkyrie Lin Yun, the same one who had once kicked him out, was stunned by the sheer speed of his building crew. "Wait, what? That's insane." She immediately sent a friend request. While chatting, Jonan's kill count quietly ticked to 666. Realizing it, he swiftly recalled Soro to avoid any accidental overkill. Then he casually told Lin Yun, "Got something to handle. Gonna walk around the wild zone for a bit." Minutes later, a system prompt rang out. "Dungeon cleared. Hidden achievement unlocked. Murloc 666. Reward. Special skill. Murloc empowerment." And with the bonus EXP, Jonan also reached level 5. Smooth and satisfying. He immediately summoned a Murloc, eyes sparkling. "All right, let's see just how strong you become now." To Jonan's surprise, the Murloc he summoned instantly upgraded from 1 star to 5 star, with a massive stat boost. Even better, every Murloc card could be individually enhanced. The thought of building a buffed Murloc battalion made him giddy with excitement. But as he rejoined the team, one female player immediately threw shade. "You barely killed anything. Leeching much?" Valkyrie Lin Yun quickly stepped in. He handled all the mission objectives. If anyone carried this run, it's him. Still, the other 2 weren't letting it slide. "Then let's take it to the 2v2 arena. Let's see who's really carrying who." Jonan saw through it immediately. They just want to farm arena points off me. But now that he was level 5 with a loaded card deck, bring it on. The arena system had 5 tiers: bronze, silver, gold, diamond, and king. In bronze, only 2 maps were available: dual arena for direct PvP, Temple of 4 Corners, a hybrid mode with NPC factions. Winning earns you arena points, while losing subtracts them. Every player starts with 0 points. Points could be used to redeem exclusive cards or unlock achievement rewards. Soon, they arrived at the bronze arena. One of the girls smirked. "Let's spice it up. How about we bet some gold?" Lin Yun frowned. "Isn't that kind of like cheating? Betting feels a bit much." The male player taunted. "Relax. It's just for fun. 100 gold per team." "What? You don't even have 50. Lin Yun, provoked, fired back. "Who are you calling broke? I'm putting down 200. Jonan inside. "All right, I'm in 200. But inside, he mused. "Acts tough, but this guy's calculating like crazy." The pot splits by win ratio. He clearly thinks he's got this in the bag. The smug male player sneered. 2 noobs who've never touched the arena, and they're betting this much? The woman beside him chuckled. "Don't give them time to realize. Start the match. Quick." Jonan and Lin Yun exchanged a knowing glance and smiled. Both were seasoned veterans. They weren't the least bit nervous about high stakes or being ambushed. The countdown hit 0, and all 4 players summoned their cards simultaneously. Lin Yun leaned in and whispered, "Don't go all out. Keep them dancing. We'll win more rounds, more gold." Their opponents unleashed a flood of summons right off the bat, quickly putting Jonan's team on the defensive. Lin Yun glanced at the battlefield. "This pressure's building fast. We might not hold out." But Jonan remained calm. "Relax. Once Soro finishes building the towers, they're not getting through." Sure enough, just moments later, 4 defensive towers stood tall, with 4 Soros perched atop, ready to fire. A hail of shots rained down, devastating the enemy's summons, cutting through them like paper. Alarmed, the opposing duo quickly threw down more creature cards, desperate to regain momentum. In no time, Jonan's side was swarmed from all directions. Even his trusty Panda couldn't hold out. its HP dropped to 0 and it returned to card form. But that was exactly what Jonin wanted. This was all part of his master plan. Bait out as many enemy summons as possible to feed his cannon follower Dinglei with combat data for leveling up. He saw the perfect opportunity and summoned Dinglei, along with its ammo, the Murloc Cannonball. The Murloc barely had time to look around before Dinglei snatched it up and jammed it head first into the cannon, without a moment's hesitation. Boom! The Murloc Cannonball soared through the sky like a meteor and smashed straight into the enemy ranks. A system alert popped up. Cannon follower Dinglei gained plus 10 proficiency. Moments later, Dinglei leveled up to Tier 2, officially becoming a 2-star black card. More damage, faster reload. Watching from the sidelines, Lin Yun exclaimed, "Wait, your card gets stronger the more you shoot?" She quickly swapped into a new gear set and muttered, "It's been 20 minutes already, let's just wrap this up." Then she turned to Zhou Nan, half joking, half serious. "I knew you weren't a rookie. I've shown you all my trump cards. Guess I'm counting on you from now on." Zhou Nan just shrugged. "Why rush? Slow matches are more fun." Lin Yun narrowed her eyes. "Wait a minute. Your cannon gains experience over time, doesn't it?" Zhou Nan didn't reply, but his smirk said it all. Lin Yun sighed. "Great. Now I'm part of a long-form farming strategy." With no other option, Zhou Nan bribed her. 300 gold for a dramatic exit. Instantly, Lin Yun flipped the switch, Oscar-worthy performance mode activated. She flailed around, screaming as enemy beasts chased her down the arena. In a final tragic scene, she fell and exited the match, earning her paycheck with full dramatic flair. The enemy team cheered. "Yes, we got one. This is in the bag now." Little did they know, they were nothing more than cannon fodder in Zhou Nan's leveling scheme. They waited and waited, but Zhou Nan never went down. After 20 full minutes, they realized something was very wrong. They marched forward to check the situation, only to go completely speechless. Zhou Nan was perched atop his watchtower, standing safely behind 4 Soros, and their entire beast army couldn't even reach him. The two players exploded with rage. "You're cheating. Who the hell camps on a tower in PvP?" Zhou Nan put on an exaggerated innocent face, clearly enjoying every second. Then, with a sly grin, he fired back. "What? Your summons are all gone? Don't want to call more? That's it? So this is pro play, huh?" Fuming, both opponents shouted and summoned a fresh wave of monsters, sending them charging toward Zhou Nan's position. But after another 20 minutes, every single one of their summons was wiped out again. Now they were stuck. If they quit, they'd lose their streak and the gold. If they stayed, they couldn't win. Grumbling threats up from the female player. "I was careless. If you've got guts, face me in the Temple of Four Corners." Zhou Nan's lips curled into a wicked grin. "Sure, let's raise the stakes." The Temple of Four Corners was no ordinary arena. It included 4 powerful NPC factions. Each temple offered its own unique troops, technologies, and tactics. Players had to pick a faction. If their faction won, they'd win the match. In the Temple of Four Corners battle map, players must defeat specific wild monsters to unlock tech trees and expand their faction's power. Each of the 4 temples features unique technologies that counter one another, adding another layer of strategic depth. Zhou Nan entered the match room and noticed 2 spectators already watching. He wondered, did she invite people to analyze my tactics? Shrugging off, he confidently selected the Serenity Temple, a defensive faction known for its healing auras and strong zoning mechanics. The female player, meanwhile, chose the Cursed Temple, a faction that directly counters Serenity Temple's slow-paced playstyle. Zhou Nan raised an eyebrow. That wasn't random. She either knows her matchups, or someone's coaching her. And sure enough, she had invited her in-game mentor to give her live guidance. This was clearly a guaranteed win plan. Meanwhile, Zhou Nan stepped out of his faction's main gate, walked beneath the ancient tree of Serenity, and began summoning his starter units. Game rules required players to clear the monster camp near their spawn point to unlock the ability to build military structures. Zhou Nan quickly commanded his units to attack the neutral monsters near the tree. Once cleared, he set his initial guardians to patrol mode, ensuring no backdoor shenanigans. Then he directed his black bear and axe throwers to begin constructing defensive towers just outside the barracks. Watching his every move, the female player turned to her mentor. "He's building again. Same turtle strategy." Her mentor scoffed. "Classic new move. This map is all about controlling the field. If he turtles, he'll starve on resources. Other than the central dragon, which only pros can kill, the outer rings are full of resource-rich wilds. If he doesn't contest them, he's already lost." On this map, players refer to the 5 radial paths outside the dragon's lair as the 5 rings. The closest was Ring 1, and the furthest out was Ring 5. From Ring 3 onward, monsters required green tier units or better to defeat. The female player noticed Zhou and suddenly moving toward Ring 2. It turned out he was targeting a monster that was perfect for leveling up cannon follower Denglei. A bolt of lightning cracked down from the sky as a thunder-spiked tortoise appeared, stomping heavily toward Zhou Nan's hilltop position. Just as it began ascending the slope, boom! Denglei let off a clean shot, knocking the beast back before it could get close. Zhou Nan gave the order, "Keep firing." The hillside echoed with repeated booms as continuous fire kept the beast at bay. Soon after, a system prompt appeared, "Lookout tower unlocked." Zhou Nan climbed up the newly built tower and surveyed the battlefield. "All right, now it's a gamble. I need a monster respawn near here to unlock new tech and units." Meanwhile, on the other side, the female player, under her mentor's guidance, was fighting a group of electric slimes, which would boost her unit cap by +20 and had a chance to drop a gold chest. Zhou Nan stayed in place, eyes scanning the terrain below. "Come on, respawn already." Then, pay off. A pack of Capricorn rats emerged nearby. Defeating them would unlock his second-tier temple unit, and had a chance of dropping card rewards. The system alert barely finished before Zhou Nan called out, "Denglei, fire at will." A torrent of cannon fire erupted from the hillside, raining down on the rats with explosive force. But the Capricorn rats proved unusually resilient. One cannon shot wasn't enough to take them down. Squeaking wildly, they scurried up the hill, dodging cannon blasts with surprising agility. One of them even tried to climb over the thunder-spiked tortoise's corpse to reach the platform. Seeing this, Denglei lifted its cannon and unleashed a triple barrage, raining explosions onto the rats. The last one gave a final screech before collapsing to the ground. The area fell silent. A zone-wide announcement chimed. Player Zhou Nan has defeated Capricorn rats and unlocked the second temple unit, Blade Dancer. But that wasn't all. One of the rats' bodies transformed into a green card, which floated gently into Zhou Nan's hand. He glanced at it and grinned. Not bad. Today's luck is holding. With a flick of the wrist, he summoned the green card, Capricorn Rat, which landed gracefully on all fours, sparks crackling from its whiskers. Meanwhile, the Thunderspike tortoise was still struggling at the bottom of the slope. High physical defense, but low magic resistance, perfect for the Capricorn Rat's lightning-based attacks. With a hiss, the rat fired bolts of magic lightning, striking the tortoise again and again until it slumped over. And with all the action, cannon follower Denglei leveled up to 4 stars. System note, 400 more shots to reach 5-star evolution. Back in the spectator room, the female player hesitated. Can we still win?" Her mentor just waved dismissively. "Nah, this guy clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Not worth watching." She sighed. "Then, can you take me around the map a bit? I want to study the temples." He nodded. "Sure, let's go." But just as they were preparing to leave, a zone-wide alert echoed out again. Stray Cat from the Stars has appeared near Serenity Temple. Guaranteed card drop upon defeat. Also unlocks 1 random temple technology. He casually recalled all his cards. Since he was too far from the temple, the only way to return quickly was through self-inflicted respawn. Without hesitation, Zhou Nan walked directly beneath the Thunderspike tortoise. He stood still and let the creature stomp him to death with a single blow. His body transformed into a beam of light and soared toward the temple. In the Temple of Four Corners mode, player death carries no penalty. You simply return to your spawn point. The first death has a 30-second cooldown, with the respawn time doubling each time afterward. Once the countdown ended, Jonin summoned the newly unlocked temple unit and headed straight toward the location of the Star Wanderer cat. With the help of his new unit, it didn't take long before the Star Cat was knocked to the ground. At that moment, the temple glowed brightly. He had unlocked a new technology, Gale Aura, which increases all ranged units' attack speed by 25%. Meanwhile, Jonin was already thinking, what kind of black card could be created by fusing the Star Cat and the Capricorn Rat? He brought the two cards together. Moments later, a brand new black card slowly emerged before him. The result was a Magicat card. Its defense was still weak, but its attack power and skill damage had greatly improved. With the new card in hand, Jonin gave a faint smirk. He was ready to teach that female player a lesson. Bringing the Magicat and his two unlocked units, he began walking toward the distant enemy temple. Meanwhile, the female player was still peacefully farming wild monsters, completely unaware that danger was quietly closing in. Before long, Jonin arrived outside the cursed temple, leading a large group of summoned beasts. With a casual wave of his hand, his summons launched a barrage of attacks on the temple walls. At that moment, the female player received a system alert. Her temple was under attack. Furious, she cursed Jonin in her heart, believing this was just a cheap sneak attack. But when she rushed back to the barracks, she found that the undead tombstone had already been destroyed. Now her temple was weakened, and she needed to defeat 60 wild monsters to recover its power. Gritting her teeth, she refused to back down. She gathered her summons and headed straight for Jonin's temple, determined to make him pay. On the other side, Jonin was on his way back to his own temple when he suddenly ran into a massive earth savage bear. Thinking, might as well fight it, he ordered his summons to launch an attack. Unexpectedly, the bear slammed its paws on the ground, summoning a giant stone monument that blocked all incoming attacks. Then it charged forward, knocking the monument down, sending it crashing toward Jonin's summons. But Jonin's panda wasn't having any of it. It let out a mighty roar and heaved the falling stone slab to the side, narrowly saving the team. Just then, the Earth Savage Bear's body suddenly trembled, transforming into a spinning stone sphere, preparing to charge again. By the time Jonin realized it, the stone sphere was already hurtling toward him at terrifying speed, forcing him to turn and run. Danglai and the Magicat instantly launched attacks, sparks and explosions flashing across the surface of the rolling sphere. Unfortunately, the attacks didn't seem to work. The sphere continued along its original path, unstoppable. It rolled straight over the Magicat, crushing it beneath. The Magicat was instantly knocked out, reverting to a card and returning to Jonin's hand. Moments later, Jonin was chased all the way to a lake's edge. Without hesitation, he jumped forward with all his strength, and the massive sphere rolled straight into the water behind him. With a violent splash, the current finally pushed the sphere apart, revealing the Earth Savage Bear inside. Before the bear could even react, Jonin had already ordered his summons to launch a full assault. Under the combined firepower of Danglai and the Black Bear Axe throwers, the Earth Savage Bear was finally defeated, unlocking a temple tech, ranged boost, which increased the attack power of all ranged units by 25%. Jonin also received the Earth Savage Bear card as a reward. Looking at the card, he recalled his earlier field Black Bear card. Since both were tank-type units, he figured it was worth trying a fusion. At worst, he'd get a decent meat shield. The fusion produced a strengthened Black Bear card. Its stats were higher, but it had no skills, which Jonin found unsatisfying, so he decided to try fusing it again, this time with a Magicat card. The resulting card gained a bit of attack power, but the damage output was still too low, not quite what he wanted. In the end, Jonin decided to try one more fusion, this time using the Panda card. Finally, he succeeded in creating a summon card equivalent to blue tier quality. It combined the Earth Savage Bear's health, the panda's attack, and the Magicat's flame-based damage. He then ordered the Black Bear axe throwers to return to Serenity Temple to defend. Meanwhile, Zhou himself headed back into the wilds, bringing along his panda and Deng Lei to farm more monsters. On the other side, the female player had just arrived outside the Serenity Temple. She commanded her large group of summons, preparing for a full-on assault on the temple. But as soon as her troops approached, they were immediately suppressed by the temple's defenses. She was shocked. How had Zhou Nan's tech progressed so quickly? Furious, she stomped the ground and shouted, "Damn it!" Still, she wasn't about to give up. "Even if I lose, I have to go down swinging." She summoned all her remaining units and ordered a final charge toward the temple. At first, her skeleton soldiers managed to do some damage. But once Zhou Nan's other 2 temple units appeared, the tide quickly turned. The skeletons were scattered and crushed without resistance. Seeing this, the female player abandoned her plan to siege the temple, deciding instead to retreat and repair her barracks first. 1 hour later, she finally chose to surrender. She realized that every time she attacked, Zhou Nan's temple kept upgrading, his growth far exceeding hers. She hadn't even seen his character once. Yet her camp was already multiple levels behind, but what's the point of fighting anymore? While Zhou Nan was still farming wild monsters, a system prompt suddenly appeared. Victory! Arena points +1, gold +200. As a beam of light enveloped his body, Zhou Nan was teleported out of the temple battlefield. Meanwhile, the female player was clearly still unwilling to accept defeat and wanted to start another round. But Zhou Nan had no interest in playing childish games and immediately removed her from his friends list. After arriving back at his secret base, he planned to challenge the second difficulty of the little fishing village. This time, he wanted to test out the savage card he hadn't used before, as well as the newly fused Great Panda, assigning them to guard separate lanes. As for himself, he brought along the butterfly card and headed out to farm wild monsters. A gray wolf spotted the butterfly approaching and lunged at it without hesitation. But unexpectedly, the butterfly's wings could release sword energy. In an instant, a storm of blades surrounded the gray wolf. The wolf tried to retaliate with agile leaps, closing the gap between them. Yet that was exactly what the butterfly had planned. While the wolf was airborne and unable to adjust mid-flight, a flurry of sword energy bombarded it from all sides. Moments later, a wolf heart lay quietly on the ground. A system message popped up. Give this to the apothecary to receive something unexpected. Zhou Nan instantly remembered. Handing over the wolf heart to the apothecary would unlock the Sunset Forest dungeon. Glancing at the butterfly beside him, he thought, if it can handle a gray wolf this easily, clearing this dungeon shouldn't be a problem. Sure enough, it didn't take long before the system announced. Dungeon cleared. Zhou Nan now had a clearer understanding of his current strength. After sorting through his loot, he decided to challenge the second difficulty of the little fishing village, solo. Just then, Valkyrie Lin Yin suddenly contacted Zhou Nan, asking if he could help her clear the third difficulty of Little Fishing Village. Zhou Nan didn't even hesitate. He agreed right away. When he entered the team room, he saw that aside from Lin Yun, 2 other teammates were present, one of whom, named Li Depu, was busy advertising in the chat. Turns out he was recruiting for 6 different families and even asked Zhou Nan if he wanted to join one. Zhou Nan politely declined. After that, he briefly introduced himself to the other teammate, a player named Run Fast. Everyone shared their build styles. Lin Yun played equipment build, Run Fast used mount build. And as for Li Depu, he claimed his style was Mudstone Flow, leaving Zhou Nan utterly confused. It wasn't until Run Fast explained that Zhou Nan realized Li Depu's main summon was a mud golem. Hearing that, Zhou Nan leaned over with a grin. I've got a recipe that buffs mud golems. Only 300 gold. Li Depu didn't even think twice. He left the room, and when he returned, he already had 300 gold in hand. After receiving the coins, Zhou Nan also casually mentioned that earth golems dropped the rare Heart of Stone, to which Li Depu replied with teary eyes, but I can't beat one. Zhou then pulled out a heart of stone from his inventory and asked, "Want one?" 800 gold. Li Pu agreed almost instantly. When the group finally entered the little fishing village dungeon, no one expected this. Li Pu actually succeeded in fusing a blue-grade Earth Golem card with a 5% chance. The only problem? It required level 9 to use. Lin Yun chuckled and teased. "So, freeloading already? Should we kick him now?" Luckily, Run Fast stepped in to calm things down. "All right, enough messing around. Let's focus and clear this." With that, he summoned his mount card. Lin Yun also equipped her full gear, ready for battle. Zhou summoned his own lineup of summoned beasts. Seeing the impressive roster, Li Pu couldn't help but ask, "Ever thought about starting your own family?" Zhou stroked his chin and considered the idea. Maybe it was time to form a black card clan. The other 3 teammates were immediately interested and said they'd love to join. The group moved into the forest, where Zhou shared strategies for clearing the dungeon, while his black bear axe thrower diligently built defenses in the background. He also explained how to slowly wear down the Earth Golem boss, suggesting it as a great farming option for the others. 50 minutes later, the system announced a successful dungeon clear. The 3 teammates looked at each other and laughed. "We've been playing this wrong the whole time." That was eye-opening. After saying their goodbyes, the trio went off to farm little murlocs, hoping to get the Hero Guard card. Zhou returned to his secret base and opened all his reward chests, earning a few new cards. He decided to try fusing something useful, combining a 3-star cannon card with a 2-star meteor card, hoping to create something like a sea demon or fire demon. But after the fusion completed, he stared at the resulting card in deep thought. Then, with a flick of his hand, he summoned a massive meteor unit. The entrance animation looked great, but its attack power was too low and it was painfully slow. Glancing at a nearby flame skeleton card, Zhou thought, "Maybe I should try another fusion." He took out a giant murloc card and a sea turtle card, combining the two. The resulting stats were average at best, but the name of the card, Big Turtle Boba, made Zhou laugh out loud. He liked the name so much he decided to keep it just for fun. Suddenly, an idea struck him. What would happen if I fused Big Turtle Boba with the flame skeleton? As the 2 cards fused, a fire turtle summon card appeared in Zhou hand. The card came with a stun effect upon summoning, and its fiery shell inflicted continuous burn damage to nearby enemies. Zhou looked at the card and sighed. "Feels like it's stuck in the middle. Not weak, but not great either." Just then, Valkyrie Lin Yun messaged him. Her team had gotten into a conflict with a red card clan. Zhou replied without hesitation, "Don't worry, I'm on my way." Meanwhile, Lin Yun's group was facing off with the red card clan. She suggested settling the dispute with a 2v2 arena match. The red card clan, founded by clan leader Yu Baiting, was known as one of the strongest families on the server. Upon arrival, Zhou cut straight to the point. "Let's make it a 3v3 match." A sneer came from one of the red card members. Well, we finally found you." The voice sounded familiar. Zhou squinted. It was the same female player he'd fought back in the arena. She snapped, "You pretended to be a noob and conned me out of money. Time to pay up." But Zhou wasn't intimidated in the slightest. Instead, he grinned, "Then come to the Temple of 4 Corners, 3v3. Chicken out and you're the loser." As expected, the woman exploded with rage, cursing him on the spot. Everyone made their way to the temple's pre-battle lobby. Zhou told Lin Yun to spectate, while he teamed up with Li Pu and Run Fast for the battle. The female player raised the stakes. "We're betting 8,000 gold on this match. You in or out?" Fired up by the taunt, both Li Pu and Run Fast shouted, "We're in. 1,000 gold each. Let's go." Zhou checked his pockets and found that he only had 48 gold left. The trio's eyes all slowly turned to Valkyrie Lin Yun. Blushing, she pulled out 4 gold coins, muttering, "This is my entire fortune." And so, the final bet was set. 8,000 gold from the red card side versus 2052 gold from Zhou team. Soon after, the system teleported everyone into the Temple of 4 Corners. Li Pu whispered, "What's the plan?" Their levels are clearly higher than ours. But Zhou didn't flinch. I specialize in crushing elites. He instructed Lita Poo, clear the mobs at the entrance, unlock the barracks, then head to the third ring. Follow system alerts to kill monsters and unlock techs. Then he told Run fast, scout the map. Don't engage, just find where they are. As for himself, Zhou Nan led his summoned beasts straight into battle, ready to deliver a harsh lesson. Meanwhile, the female player was focused on farming wild monsters. She didn't even notice the danger when a fire turtle suddenly dropped from above and slammed directly onto her head. She was instantly stunned on the spot. Zhou Nan's other summons rushed in without hesitation. Within seconds, she was eliminated from the match. When a female player woke up, she was completely dazed. She had no idea what had just happened and assumed she'd been killed by a falling meteor. She quickly gulped down a potion, eyes burning with rage. Zhou Nan must have pulled some cheap trick. He's gonna pay for this. Just as she was summoning her beast again, another figure respawned right beside her. Only then did they both realize they'd both been eliminated and teleported back. At that moment, a system message rang out. Zhou Nan has unlocked the electric slime. Just as he'd predicted, with his current strength, he could walk sideways through this battlefield if levels were equal. He headed straight toward the Dragon Point respawn area, knowing full well that the opponent's strongest, Bloodsea Overlord, would likely show up soon. That's the only one worth paying attention to this round. Sure enough, after hearing that the electric slime had spawned, Bloodsea Overlord led his summons to intercept it. But halfway there, he was suddenly blasted in the back by a cannonball. Whipping his head around, he saw Zhou Nan not far behind him, standing beside Deng Lei, whose cannon was still faintly smoking. Bloodsea Overlord laughed coldly. You got guts, boy. Coming to me on your own? Zhou Nan smirked. I'm unbeatable. Fight me however you want. Enraged, Bloodsea Overlord summoned his temple units and charged straight at Zhou Nan. But Zhou Nan remained calm. He pulled a black card from his inventory. Just when Bloodsea Overlord thought he was bracing for a head-on clash, Zhou Nan turned and bolted toward the Red Dragon respawn zone. Bloodsea Overlord paused, confused. Was Zhou Nan trying to commit suicide? At his level, running into the Red Dragon zone was practically asking to die. But when he arrived at the Dragon spawn point, Zhou Nan was nowhere in sight. All he saw was a red dragon snoring peacefully on the ground. Suddenly, the red dragon opened its eyes and saw someone standing in front of it. Without hesitation, it charged up a breath attack and blasted straight at Bloodsea Overlord. Caught off guard, he quickly summoned all his beasts to block the attack, but they were wiped out one after another by the dragon's fiery breath. He still couldn't figure it out. Why wasn't the red dragon attacking Zhou Nan too? Watching from a distance, Zhou Nan let out a snort. Levels high, huh? Still clueless about map mechanics. On this map, the Red Dragon's aggro priority was simple. Summon beasts, their summoner, players without summons. At that moment, Zhou Nan opened a private message and asked Valkyrie Lin Yun to lend him the legendary weapon, the Fontian Halberd. Lin Yun immediately realized his plan. He was about to flip the script. Everyone assumed Zhou Nan only played summoner builds. No one would expect him to switch to melee combat. Meanwhile, Bloodsea Overlord was still wandering around, looking for Zhou Nan. He had no idea that Zhou Nan had already appeared behind him, holding a gleaming Fontian halberd in hand. Before he could react, Zhou Nan struck first, launching a surprise attack. Moments later, two players waiting in the spawn spring saw Bloodsea Overlord respawning. They rushed over, asking, Master, what happened? How did you die? He explained the ambush. Clearly frustrated, he never expected the Red Dragon to have aggro priority mechanics. When he asked why they hadn't gone out to farm, they replied awkwardly, We ran out of mana. Furious, Bloodsea Overlord cursed them as useless, then realized he barely had enough mana left to summon two creatures himself. He fumed in silence. He mentally cursed both Zhou Nan and that damned Red Dragon. This time, however, Bloodsea Overlord had learned his lesson. Instead of rushing straight at Zhou Nan, he sneaked around with his summons and went straight for Run fast, hoping to take him out first. But just as he was about to strike, Zhounan pulled off a perfect flanking maneuver. He showed up with a full squad of summoned beasts, charging in to reinforce his teammate. Before Bloodsea Overlord could even react, Zhounan's fist smashed straight into his face. He was instantly sent back to the respawn spring. Watching this unfold, the two female players on his team knew it was over. Even though Bloodsea Overlord was one of Red Card Clan's rising stars, he had no mana left to summon anything. They had no choice but to quit the game in frustration. On Zhounan's side, the team celebrated the win with a round of high fives. Moments later, Zhounan received a private message. The female player challenged him. "Want to bet who clears Little Fishing Village's level? 5 difficulty first?" That dungeon had a strict level cap. Only players under level 10 could enter. So far, no team had successfully cleared it. Top clans like Red Card, Justice, and Battlefist had all sent their rookies, swearing they'd claim the first clear. But Zhounan was full of confidence. "First clear? That's ours." He immediately created a team room and invited all his teammates in, ready to show the big families what grassroots power really looks like. The group teleported into Little Fishing Village. One after another, they summoned their rock generals. Zhounan smiled in approval. "Nice. Looks like you all follow my guide and got the big guns. Respect." Zhounan pulled out a black card. He was taking over the building, brick-carrying task. Seeing how many black bear axe throwers he had, Li Depu's jaw dropped in shock. At the same time, Zhounan and Bloodsea Overlord were now locked in a silent standoff, both determined to claim the first clear for level 5 difficulty. Zhounan quickly assigned roles. Butterfly and Savage, go farm wild monsters. If anything drops, Corgi picks it up. Rock General and Panda, you're with me on defense. Valkyrie Lin Yun suggested, let Run fast handle gathering tasks. He's quick on his feet. Zhounan nodded in agreement. The wave of little murlocs began attacking from both flanks. Lin Yun used her gear to mow down mobs in massive swaths. Zhounan, meanwhile, relied on his summoned beasts to hold the line. When the Rock General took the field, murlocs were knocked flying one after another, unable to withstand the power. Not long after, Li Depu was the first to complete the defense structures. Just as he was basking in his success, his face changed that he pointed to the distance and shouted, "Incoming! Look over there!" The trio turned in unison. They saw it. The shark boss was approaching, slowly but menacingly. Zhounan told the others to stick to the plan, while he rushed straight toward the shark. Meanwhile, the Rock General had just cleared the nearby murlocs. It immediately launched its stun toss skill at the shark, a forced 3-second stun that even gods couldn't resist. The moment the shark boss got stunned, Zhounan roared, "Focus fire!" From the defensive towers, black bears and axe throwers unleashed a full barrage on the shark. Blades, axes, and projectiles rained down, engulfing the boss in chaos. Just as the shark tried to recover and counterattack, Valkyrie Lin Yun activated another stun toss from the Rock General. Another full wave of attacks followed instantly. After the entire combo, the shark's health had dropped to just 25%. Without hesitation, Zhounan summoned his fire turtle and charged in. The fire turtle slammed down hard, crushing the shark, forcing it to cough up blood and fall with 0 HP left. A system-wide announcement rang out. "Congratulations! Team has cleared Little Fishing Village level 5 difficulty. First clear achieved." As the first clear team, they were given the right to set a nickname and message on the dungeon leaderboard. Zhounan and his squad saw the prompt and grinned mischievously. Outside the dungeon lobby, crowds of players had gathered, speculating on which team would clear first. Most bets were on the Red Card clan. But just then, Zhounan's team popped up on the leaderboard as the first clear. The crowd gasped and instantly clicked on the team's message. It simply read, "That's it." Players were furious. Not only do they not share the strategy, they mock us too. Hope he gets a card, so weird he can't even use it. Turns out, the curse actually came true. Zhounan looked down at a new green card in his hand. It was a transformation card. When used, it would grant him a wolfskin coat cosmetic with absolutely 0 stat bonuses. Jonan blinked at the card, utterly confused. This is a thing? While the card didn't offer any stat bonuses, it allowed Jonan to transform into a gray jackal, the in jackal form. He could devour small-sized targets, dealing 300 HP damage per second. If the target was a player, they'd be forcefully demoted by 1 level. Jonan thought for a moment, then summoned the wolfskin coat anyway. As soon as he put it on, he grinned. You know what? This thing's kinda cool. A second later, his body shifted. He transformed into a gray jackal, causing his nearby pet, Duo Chi, to tremble in fear and almost pass out. After turning back into human form, Jonan stared at the outfit in amazement. Curious how the Devour's skill handles aggro. Guess I'll find out soon. At that moment, a system alert popped up. You've cleared Little Fishing Village, LV.5. New dungeon unlocked, Sunset Forest. Dungeon description, Sunset Forest. Danger and opportunity go hand in hand. Ferocious monsters guard ancient treasures. Among 100 explorers, only one shall witness the dawn. Jonan read it once and knew immediately, Battle Royale mode. And with this wolfskin outfit, perfect for it. He didn't hesitate, clicked enter Sunset Forest, and began matchmaking in seconds. 69 players matched. Jonan stared at the number climbing. 88. 94. Eyes gleaming with anticipation. Soon, a region-wide notification appeared. Player count reached. Dungeon Sunset Forest begins in 10 seconds. As the Sunset Forest dungeon opened, Jonan put on the wolfskin coat, transforming into a gray wolf. In this form, most wild monsters would not attack him, and other players couldn't see through his disguise. Not long after, he discovered a treasure chest beneath a tree. Looking at the luxurious chest in front of him, Jonan was puzzled. Why would a treasure chest inside the dungeon look like this? And why were the items just exposed outside? At this moment, 2 other players also noticed the chest. But before they could react, the chest suddenly opened its blood-red maw, swallowing them whole. By now, Jonan had seen the chest devour 3 players in total. Witnessing this, Jonan immediately understood. The chest was actually another player. Since he had a wolfskin coat, others must also have cards like the treasure chest or coats to disguise themselves. Quietly, he crept up behind the chest. With a swift leap, he pounced on top of it. He swallowed it whole in 1 bite. But soon, he realized something wasn't right. A group of summoned creatures appeared around him. And it was then that Jonan realized. After transforming, the chess player could not only disguise themselves, but also summon cards to fight. Right now, Jonan couldn't use any cards, only dodging the attacks from the summoned creatures. Just when he thought he was about to be defeated here, suddenly, an idea flashed in his mind. Jonan quietly made his way to the monster gathering area, blending in with them. Sure enough, the monsters had no intention of attacking him. Instead, they dealt with all the summoned creatures behind him. Soon after, Jonan received a message that the players had already been digested. At that moment, the area announcement sounded. The power of the apocalypse has descended. In 20 minutes, whoever sits on the throne will control all of Sunset Forest. Upon hearing this, Jonan leisurely laid down next to the throne and started taking a nap. Meanwhile, the other players were still fighting fiercely outside. Before long, the battlefield was littered with casualties. Jonan couldn't help but let out a snicker of schadenfreude upon seeing this. As more players approached the throne, the surrounding monsters started attacking them. Some players suggested clearing the monsters around the throne first, where no one would be able to sit on it. At this point, Jonan acted like the old sixth, hiding in the bushes, watching the players struggle with amusement. With 20 seconds remaining on the countdown, only 3 players were left, and Jonan had only killed 1 player from start to finish. At that moment, a player transformed into a little rabbit, jumped out, and headed straight for the throne. Just when the rabbit thought he had won, a massive blood-red maw appeared behind him, and a red wolf devoured the rabbit hole. Clearly, the red wolf was also a player, and he had been eyeing the rabbit for quite some time. At this point, Jonan decided to drop his disguise quietly moving behind the red wolf. Before the wolf could react, Zhou Nan swiftly swallowed him whole. In front of the throne, only Zhou Nan, in the form of a large gray wolf, remained. As the system countdown hit 0, the system announcement went off as expected. Zhou Nan became the final survivor, claiming the treasures of the Sunset Forest. The treasure had already been distributed to the task hall. Upon returning to his secret base, Zhou Nan eagerly opened the Sunset Forest treasure, eager to see what powerful rewards he could get. As the treasure chest slowly opened, Zhou Nan received not only gold, points, and diamonds, but also a heap of other materials, including 2 summoning cards and a mysterious egg. Looking at the treasures, Zhou Nan decided to combine the fire turtle and panda to see if he could get a powerful card. Soon, a flame panda appeared in his hand. Not only did it have extraordinary vitality and attack power, but it also regenerated health every second. Using a wild gem, he could even upgrade the card star level. Fortunately, Zhou Nan had obtained enhancement items in the Sunset Forest, so he didn't hesitate and immediately used them to upgrade the Flame Panda. To level up the Flame Panda, Zhou Nan planned to visit the Sunset Forest dungeon frequently and explore the area. After returning to the Sunset Forest, Zhou Nan took out the egg he had previously obtained. According to the card's description, the egg needed to be hatched at a specific location, and the hatching time would take 3 minutes. Once hatched, it would become a mysterious creature, with the species depending on the hatcher. If the hidden conditions were met, the card would transform into a blue, 1-star green dragon card. He looked at the card in his hand, thinking to himself, the mysterious creature depends on the hatcher. Zhou Nan considered trying each of his summoned creatures for the hatching, but then he dismissed the thought, realizing it might hatch some strange and bizarre creatures. He then wondered if players could actually hatch the egg. To his disappointment, he quickly realized that players could not hatch this egg. Zhou Nan didn't think much of it and decided to combine a few more cards before heading to Sunset Forest to find a green dragon and hatch the egg. This time, he had combined a transformation card that would allow him to turn into a female snake spirit. Zhou Nan immediately thought of the use for the card, wondering if he could use this seduction tactic to his advantage. He first transformed into his large gray wolf form, then brought the mysterious egg to the green dragon, preparing for the hatching process. While waiting for the 3-minute hatching time, he wanted to test the effect of the snake spirit card. As he wondered whether the surrounding wild monsters would attack him after his transformation, a sense of worry crept over him. A barrage of flames came rushing toward Zhou Nan. Zhou Nan, seeing this, decided to retreat for the moment. At that moment, a nearby player used an invincible red card, shielding him from the attack. Zhou Nan was about to thank him politely, but unexpectedly, by accident, he triggered the red card family's secret signal. This made the player mistakenly think that Zhou Nan was also a new member of the red card family. The player even kindly offered that if Zhou Nan ever ran into trouble, he could come to him for help. Zhou Nan was stunned, his mind failing to process the situation. At this point, the members of the red card family had already pulled him into their gathering, introducing him to the others. Seeing that Zhou Nan was a female player, everyone eagerly approached to greet her. Zhou Nan inwardly criticized their shallowness, but couldn't help enjoying the perks that came with being a female player. During the conversation, Zhou Nan learned some crucial information. During this Sunset Forest operation, the red card family members were there to escort Han Buxin through the dungeon. Zhou Nan immediately put on a weak appearance, easily winning the favor of the red card family members. He even arranged to meet them at the warehouse, promising not to miss the appointment. Zhou Nan watched the scene and couldn't help but mentally call them a bunch of fools. Meanwhile, the red card family members had already started attacking the nearby monsters. Soon, the number of players rapidly dwindled, leaving only Zhou Nan and Han Buxin. Han Buxin, now in the form of the Red Wolf, was the same one Zhou Nan had previously swallowed. He seemed to still have some psychological scars, constantly wary of the large gray wolf. At that moment, a cannonball slammed into the ground beneath him, sending him straight back home. It turned out that Zhou Nan had summoned a cannon man and attacked Han Buxin. Now, the Sunset Forest dungeon was left with only Zhou Nan. He slowly made his way to the forest throne and sat down. Nearby, a freshly hatched little green dragon flew around. Zhou Nan thought to himself, since the Red Card family invited me, I should go and see what makes this family so special. The Red Card family base was inaccessible to anyone except its members. However, Zhou Nan had previously combined a butterfly card, which was meant for sending messages. As long as he entered the designated sending location with a butterfly, he could successfully enter the Red Card family's base. Before long, Zhou Nan, together with the butterfly, arrived at the Red Card family's base. By then, Zhou Nan had used the snake's spirit card again, transforming into a female form. Upon seeing a female player, the members of the Red Card family rushed over to greet her and invited her to join them for a meal. Just then, a purple-haired beauty appeared, showing strong interest in Zhou Nan. Zhou Nan turned his head, and there, standing behind him, was a purple-haired beauty with red eyes, her graceful figure catching his attention. The purple-haired beauty stepped forward, lifted his chin, and started flirting, asking if he had time to go on a date with her. Zhou's moment made the purple-haired beauty feel a strange sense of attraction, thinking that Zhou Nan was quite an interesting person. Soon after, Zhou Nan donned his wolfskin coat again and made his way to the outskirts of the forest. There, an NPC named Little Red Riding Hood would issue quests to passing players. The purpose of Zhou Nan's visit was to see if the wolf depicted on the wolfskin coat could actually devour NPCs. He decided to test it on Little Red Riding Hood. At that moment, Little Red Riding Hood was completely unaware of any danger, continuing to issue quests to Zhou Nan according to the storyline. Seeing that no other players were around, Zhou Nan immediately transformed into a large gray wolf and extended his claws toward Little Red Riding Hood. However, just then, Little Red Riding Hood unexpectedly transformed into a massive black wolf. The black wolf immediately charged toward Zhou Nan. Zhou Nan realized that the red cloak worn by Little Red Riding Hood was also a transformation item. Seizing the opportunity while the black wolf was attacking, Zhou Nan quickly bit into its body. He swallowed the black wolf whole. As time passed, the black wolf was slowly digested inside him. Zhou Nan then received a system notification, informing him that he had killed the legendary evil wolf and completed a hidden quest with 25% progress. He received a 5-star green card, the legendary werewolf card, as well as the right to access the Evil Wolf Legend book. By turning in this book to the Alchemist Association in White Cloud City, he would receive a generous reward. Zhou Nan never expected that swallowing the black wolf would not only trigger a hidden quest, but also reward him with such powerful cards. Zhou Nan casually picked up the green card and examined it. The card had 3 notes. Besides summoning the black wolf to work for him, this card could only be used inside the base. The final note was that if a suppression cloak was used, the card would undergo a certain transformation. After reading the description, Zhou Nan took out the cloak he had previously obtained from Little Red Riding Hood and draped it over the large gray wolf. The gray wolf's body began to change, slowly transforming into Little Red Riding Hood's form. At this moment, Zhou Nan remembered the hidden quest, realizing he had only completed 25%. He wondered if he had been doing the task incorrectly, causing the quest to be interrupted. He decided to look through the Evil Wolf Legend book to see if it contained any clues. It turned out that the black wolf was a vegetarian, its favorite food being mushrooms, which led to its exclusion from the wolf pack. Fortunately, it encountered the kind-hearted Little Red Riding Hood. However, the ignorant villagers didn't know any of this, and they sought to kill the black wolf. Little Red Riding Hood rushed to stop them, but was knocked down by the villagers. As a result, the black wolf lost its only friend and went mad, killing all the villagers. It then put on Little Red Riding Hood's cloak and transformed into her. After finishing the book, Zhou Nan didn't find any new clues. Just then, a message appeared before him. It was a private message from Li Dapu, saying he had reached level 10 and was choosing his skills. He asked Zhou Nan whether he should pick card synthesis or a regular skill. Zhou advised him to choose card synthesis and said he would come over to help him decide. When Zhou arrived in front of Li Dapu, he was lounging on the beach, enjoying the sun, and had already chosen the card synthesis skill. Not only that, Li Dapu had already experimented with card synthesis and discovered that combining cards that start with eat with animals would create dish cards. Zhou immediately recognized this as a major business opportunity. The cards Li Dapu synthesized could be traded. He then shared an idea with him. What if we combine cards that start with item? Will it produce various items? Li Dapu thought Zhou idea was brilliant and decided to try it out right away.